Lieutenant Mike Stacy with the Land Police Department reading chapter 32, okay? Impenetrable. As the spider walked to Flax Industries, they discussed their plan. We have to find the doctor. If Zach can replicate himself 1,000 times, then who knows what else he's capable of. He might invent a whole army of killer robots. 1,000 Zachs will make 1,000,000 Zachs, John said. Then we'll all be cutting pineapple. Teresa never wanted to see another pineapple in her life. What if Dr. Flax is dead, John wondered. Why would the Zachs even want to keep him alive? Miss Curry's primary operating program is to protect him, Teresa said as she turned Bonnie onto Flax Industries' exit. She would do anything to make sure he's safe, so maybe he's okay. Maybe she knows where he is. Unless she's malfunctioning too, John suggested. Teresa hadn't thought of that. Dr. Flax Robotics bees had attacked Ashley because they thought she was a flower. The Purigator had attacked them because it thought they were contaminating the lake. And Zachary had seemed to think he was designed not to help save the planet, but to replicate himself and conquer the planet. Many of the doctor's inventions did seem prone to malfunctioning, and unfortunately only he would know how to turn off the Zacharys, or at least reprogram them. All we can do is try to find him, Teresa said. We have to get to the laboratory back in its control. Otherwise what? Teresa felt sick at the thought of it. When the twins do feel like they no longer need Ashley, they'll toss her aside. They might even kill her. No, John gasped, and it was the first time Teresa had seen him worry about Ashley at all. When they arrived, Teresa drove Bonnie down the winding path through the pineapple fields toward the main entrance, expecting to be attacked at any time. What would Zachary send after them? Robotic guard dogs? An artificially intelligent garbage compactor with gnashing teeth? Teresa could tell John the tension too. He was holding the quadruple bubble cone cocked and ready. His faith in Bubbles' his protection was much stronger than hers, but at least he had something. Teresa had nothing to rely on but her portable welding torch. But there was no attack. The sun was rising and shining on the pineapple plants. Chickadees chirped pleasantly in the fields, besides the clickety-clickety-click-click, clickety-clickety-click-click of Bonnie's feet. The buzz of the dragonfly wings was the only noise they heard. Teresa brought her to a stop before the great steel front doors of Flax Industries and looked up. There was no one to greet them or scare them. Then Teresa realized the obvious. There's no way in without the code to the front door. They know that. This place is locked up tight, as impenetrable as a fortress. John jumped off the spider and kicked at the door. The small thud of his foot barely made an echo. He examined the entry code. It was much more boring than the rainbow-colored 13-wedge animal combo locks inside. This lock was a standard electronic numerical pad. He hit it with his fist. Ow! Do you really want to draw attention to us? Teresa said, jumping off Bonnie and grabbing his arm. You're going to get us killed. We need the element of surprise. John shrugged and walked along the western wall of Flax Industries. He knocked on the wall occasionally as if that would give him some new information. Maybe there's a sewer we could break into. It was a thought, although Teresa didn't like the idea of wading through a pipe full of human waste. Then she thought of Thomas Edison. How did Thomas get into the drones room? He had to get in through a secret entrance or something. I wonder if we can find it. John was excited by the idea and plastered himself against the wall. He ran his hands along the surface, searching for inset buttons, invisible levers, anything that might reveal a secret door. The drones room is near our laboratories in the western wing. Teresa said, we have to go to the west a ways. She got on her spider and John walked alongside her, looking for anything out of the ordinary. Thomas wears pressurized boots, Teresa said, looking up to the roof 2 stories high. Maybe he jumped all the way up there. Although it seemed hard to imagine a little robot like Thomas achieving such altitude. The mission would be a whole lot easier if we had grenades, John said. We could just blast our way in. I should have brought grenades. You don't own any grenades. You don't know that. Well, do you own any grenades? No, John said sadly. Teresa wondered if they were being watched. They were right out of the open among the pineapple plants. They kept searching. The sun kept rising, beating down on them. Summer in South Carolina could be awfully hot, and they soon were sweating and frustrated that they couldn't find anything. I'm trying to remember where Thomas hid himself in the field on the first day, but all these plants look the same. That one doesn't, John said, pointing to a particular pineapple that shimmered in the distance. That's a mirage, Teresa said. The air right above the ground is getting really hot, and the light refracts as it moves through the cold air to the hot air. Don't you know that? You're supposed to be a science whiz. Calm down, genius, John snapped back. The heat was making them both grumpy. But John refused to believe the shimmering pineapple was a mirage. He moved slowly toward it with the quadruple bubble cone at the ready. What are you doing? Teresa sighed. John tiptoed closer to the wavering plant and fired. A stream of bubbles spread over the pineapple plants. Most of them popped when they fell on prickly leaves, but the bubbles above the shimmering plant floated gently down through the warm air and through the leaves as if they weren't there at all. It's a hologram. I knew it, John said. No, you didn't, Teresa said, but she ran up to join him, and they both peered into the hole that the falling bubbles had revealed. It was a cement pipe, at least twice their height and depth. Teresa got our hurricane kit flashlight and pointed it into the hole. At the bottom, the pipe turned towards the laboratory, but there was all kinds of garbage down there. The kinds of garbage you do not want to find at the bottom of a hole you might be forced to jump into. Broken glass, rusty shards of metal, jagged pieces of plastic. It's a trap, John said. Teresa nodded. I bet the twins did this once they figured out how Thomas got in. John smiled wickedly. They can't stop us. Nope, Teresa smiled. Can your spider fit down the hole, John asked. I think so, just barely, Teresa said with a grin. We can fold her legs tight against her body, and then I think we can lower her down. She knew the rope from her father's hurricane kit would come in handy.